Okay, Metal Tuesday. How you doing, Brett?
You know, it's looking like a traditional Metal Monday where it's blood in the water.
Bloody man, copper's not at that 420 mark.
Boy,
And
I think it hit, what is it, 408 or 6 or something like that right now? I mean, we're doing this later in the afternoon.
I think we're like 407, 408.
Yeah.
It was like an hour ago at least.
Yeah, it was a rough go today across the board. PGMs got blasted. I mean, the copper got blasted, oil got crushed, aluminum, nickel, you name it. Like,
all of them.
The stock
Aluminum,
market got
nickel,
fucking jackhammered. It was a bad day. We should have waited done Metal Wednesday. Maybe we could get some recovery, but
yeah,
we'll see what happens. For those of you looking for some positive news on the ferrous side, it ain't coming this month either.
You got to go to a different podcast for that.
Yeah. You're gonna listen to Positivity by two other jackwagons.
Well, I listened to Bulls versus Bears this morning.
Yeah.
Good episode, but go check it out. Get much more details on iron.
Yeah.
It ain't looking pretty.
No.
But all the charts kind of say it should be.
Yep.
Looking pretty.
It's like looking at the stats, but not looking at the win or the loss, right?
Yeah.
If you just look at the stats, but there's some teams out there.
But you don't watch the game.
Yeah. Like, man, it looks like they crushed them. And then,
Yep.
Yeah.
You still got to score the points, and Iron's not scoring points.
It is. It's a rough go.
What's going on? Like, why is copper? Why is everything going down? Is everything just everyone on their heels?
Well, I mean, I saw something come out with Goldman Sachs. They lowered their estimated price point for copper, where they thought it was going to trade at. They were anticipating, $5 plus copper this year, and they've obviously withdrawn that number due really to China, the weakness in China.
Yeah.
I mean, my buddy Jake Bronstein sent me a article this weekend about, Chinese dumping, the amount of steel they're dumping on the world market. And Chad touches on that in the podcast as well in great detail, which is awesome. But so it's a combination of, a weak Chinese economy who are big consumers of commodities like aluminum, like copper, that is really kind of, and it's speculative, right? I mean, it's the exact opposite reason of why it traded so high. Like, people are speculating downside, people speculating upside, and it's a momentum trade. But really, I think a lot of it's coming, like, weakness out of China is probably a big driver of that. And I think you saw the stock market getting hit hard today, and then when everything bleeds like that, commodities are going with it.
Well, the scarier part is when it keeps bleeding, like all week.
Yeah.
So we've seen that. Like, traditionally, when you see a day like today, you see some recovery tomorrow.
Yeah.
I hope that's what we see. And
just
tomorrow,
don't hold your breath.
Yeah,
like, we can hope, right?
I remember some stretches on really bad markets where it just keeps going, and it kind of feels like that. I don't want to jinx anyone.
Where everybody's holding scrap, thinking that next month it's going to be better, next week tomorrow's going to be better, next whatever's going to be better, and it never is. It's always like, well, shit, that last sale looks like your best sale type of deal,
It feels like that. I hope I'm wrong. I hope everything flips. I hope everything goes up. I mean, if you guys do want good news, it was the first full weekend of college football this weekend, and Notre Dame won.
Yeah.
So that's good news for me and my Notre Dame brethren back here. And I hope everyone had a good time with their families on Labor Day. And that part was good. We just came back to shitty markets.
No, it's one of those deals. I mean, Labor Day is always a good weekend because it feels like it's kind of the cap of it caps off your summer. Obviously, we started 75 hard, on Sunday.
Yep.
So it was I think it was a good weekend to start it just because you're busy, you have time to kind of get into the routine and figure out what it's going to look like. But the challenging is when work starts and you have to work in all the workouts and everything else and the reading and the water drinking and whatever else.
It's a time management component. I think
it's such a time management component to what we're doing. Which is why it's such an awesome mental test more than a physical test. I mean, you will be tired, you will be sore, but it's that mental component that really is what gets me excited because I'm not the best at allocating my time always, and so it really makes me just dial in like what I'm going to do that day and how I'm going to get it all done.
When you did it last time, did you see some of that transition, not to just the 75 hard? Did you see that transition to your
Absolutely,
other
yeah.
aspects?
After you're
Okay.
done, I mean,
'Cause that's kind of the point of the whole deal.
yeah. I mean,
right?
and you some of it you'll just be like, okay, you got through it, and there's certain things you'll keep doing, and whether
Yeah.
it's reading or like for me, one of the things I kept doing was rucking at
Yeah,
night. You know,
yeah.
like I was doing that a few nights a week still, just because it's a good, just kind of a good go walk and think about stuff and a little extra exercise and. So I kept doing that. I stayed on the diet part for the most part, other than alcohol. I definitely veered.
You brought
off.
that back.
So I guess we'll see what after 75 days if that comes back. I'm sure it'll come back in here and there. But it's just a good way to end a good chunk of year and take a chunk out of it and just kind of reset after a summer and get your life back organized again. At least for me.
All right, we're on day 3. So
Yeah,
we got a long few more days to go.
I always do. I break it up. I'm like, okay, day 3. For 5 days, I'll be in the 60s, right? So it's like, now I'm in the 60s,
there you
and
go.
then I'm in the 50s, and that's kind of how I mentally break it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds better. All right. Well, thank you, Brett. I
right,
think
man.
we're going to bring back Football Friday live this
Yes,
Friday.
sir.
So we'll put out a time for that when we kind of can get together.
Absolutely.
So look for that. Bye-bye.
All right, guys, take care.